And we are recording. Welcome to Fallen Solo Session 10. So, I'm actually recording this and I'm also streaming it on Twitch. I thought I should go back into streaming stuff on Twitch because recording it off stream is very nice and all. It gives me some time to think, but I felt that whenever I streamed on Twitch, it kind of forced me to keep going and it felt a lot more natural and a lot more fun. Also, this might be our final episode, so, I thought it might be good to celebrate the occasion by actually streaming the final session. Okay, so session 10. Let's do a recap of session 9 first. Session 9, basically, we found out that the monster was allergic to crucifixes. We also found out that it contained a pendant of Antonia's, right? Basically, it's this pendant that belonged to Antonia and had some evidence on it that it was hers and is actually powering the creature's heart. So if we're able to kill the creature and dissect it, do a bit of anatomy study on it, we'll be able to find the pendant and we'll be able to prove that Lord Vlade as well as the Plague Doctor were behind this whole mess. So we'll see if that happens. What else? Okay, so these are my very elaborate prep notes. So what happened to Gaius and what happened to Keldvik? So I'm gonna start rolling some dice. Let's get out the dice. Okay, so let's roll. I just want to ask a few questions first. My first question would be, was Captain Keldvik convinced in any way to join the fight? I think this is super unlikely, to the point that I'm giving 3 dice. The reason for this is that I'd say he would be likely to join the fight if Lord Vlade was sanctioning it. However, given that we know that Lord Vlade and the Plague Doctor are working together on this, I think it's very unlikely that he will not. I'm going to roll this and I pick the lowest one. That is going to be a 2. So no, he does not actually join the fight. So, is Gaius able to meet up with Samuel basically without issue? Actually, I'm going to say it's likely that Gaius is going to be able to come back and meet up with Samuel. I think it's quite likely. So I'm going to say pick the high one. So yes, he is able to. There's a 15. So Gaius is able to kind of meet up with Samuel after the fact. So let's actually see. We have Gaius here and we have Samuel. So after the fact, they're able to meet up, perhaps in the cave that Samuel slept at in the previous session, and Gaius was holding him at gunpoint. So they meet in that cave after all this is over, and they discuss. Samuel explains everything that has happened, and Samuel also explains the monster's weakness as well as the evidence, and the fact that Lord Vlade is actually complicit in all of this. So I'm thinking that Gaius and Samuel are going to go back to Hillgrab. But the question is, do I want to make this a journey? I don't think so. I think we've actually gone through my supplement, Tethered Leaves, quite a few times at this point. So that's one reason. The other reason is that I think that they're not going to care about going, inconspicuously. I think they are not going to care about that. I think they're just going to want to hit there as fast as possible. And I think that Gaius is going to know a few routes through there, maybe a few shortcuts. I guess it might still be possible that they go through the forest, but yeah, instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use Fallen's scene system, which we haven't used for a while. And we're going to see if there is a twist to this. So let me focus that in. There we go, structure the scene. So the scene is that they're going to end up at Hillgrab. Does anything impede their way? So we're going to roll 2 d6s as well as a d8. And if both d6s are under the d8, then we alter the scene. Oh, there is a complication along the way. There is some kind of complication as they're heading to Hillgrab, which would actually be bad because at this point the abomination is causing chaos within Hillgrab. What is the complication as they go through? So my question was, are they going through the forest or are they taking the main roads? I think it's highly likely they're taking the main roads, so let's see. That's going to be a no. So I think, okay, so I think in this case, they actually take the forest, but Gaius is using a shortcut through the forest, and they are trying to head towards Hillgrab, but they get waylaid by something. Well, we know that the Dead Knight is in charge of the forest yet again. Is it gonna be the Dead Knight again? Yeah, I think it's likely. Let's see. 16, that's gonna be the case. the Dead Knight is going to interrupt them in some way. Is he going to do it directly? Or is this going to be rather a message that they're headed to Hillgrab? That might be interesting. I think, yeah, we'll say that's likely. Like, is it one of the Dead Knight's creatures that is cluing him in that they're headed to Hillgrab? And he might interrupt the entire combat. So I'm going to say that's likely. There's going to be an 18, so yes. I think what we're going to say is that one of the creatures of the forest, maybe one of the ravens, maybe one of the crows, sees Gaius and Samuel running through as fast as they can and knows that they are enemies of the Dead Knight. And this crow or raven or whatever the case might be heads back, flies back to the Dead Knight and tells him of what's going on. So the Dead Knight knows that they're headed to Hillgrab. That is going to be the twist in our little scene here. So we'll see how that plays out, or if it plays out at all. So they end up heading to Hillgrab. I'm actually going to grab my tokens. So here are the tokens that I've made. And yes, I've handmade these. These are basically... Okay, it's gonna be hard to find Samuel in here. Oh wait, there he is. There he is. That's our boy. So we got Samuel here, and we have Gaius. Gaius, where art thou? He's somewhere in this rubble here. Give me a sec to find him. Is that him? Yeah, there he is. So we have Samuel, and we have Gaius. We probably need some soldiers as well, so we're gonna grab those out. And these are just like tokens that I've printed out and laminated with these epoxy stickers. I'm gonna close this back, and I'm gonna grab out my battle mat. So here we go. We got the battle mat ready to go. Oh yeah, this is perfect actually. Yeah, let's use yeah, so they enter the ruined rubble right around there. Like the gates are basically crashed in, right? So they enter around here. Yeah, maybe this is the entranceway into Hillgrab. And just imagine that there's a bunch of houses and a bunch of chaos going about. Are there any soldiers at the gate, or are they all tending to this abomination that is basically ravaging their city? I'm gonna say it's unlikely that there's any soldiers at the gate. Let's see about that though. Let's roll for that. Yeah, no, there's not gonna be any at the gate. There's gonna be a 1 actually. There's nobody. There's absolutely nobody near the front gate. So they come in, and I think they don't see anybody. They see a bunch of corpses just lying about, strewn across the floor. It's a massacre. I think Gaius at this point has a very strong reaction. He is in charge, if you remember, of protecting this city. And he's kind of failed at that at this point. Not through his own fault, but I think he is the sort of person who will take responsibility for that. And he's almost in tears, and I think it's pretty bad. There's like all these guards strewn about, these corpses littered about the floors, and he knows these people. He grew up with these people. He mentored these people. And he has now a personal reason to go after this abomination. So they rush in through the gates, and they're looking about for any sign of where the monster is headed, right? And I think it's going to be pretty obvious where it is. Now, we have to know, what is this monster actually, right? We haven't actually figured that out. We haven't actually figured out what is the monster. So in order to do that, we're going to make a custom creature. So we're going to use Fallen here. We're going to use Fallen. And at the very back, there is a section for custom creature creation. So we're going to use this. We're just gonna make a creature, and we're gonna roll them up. So first up is a D10. So we're gonna roll them up. 7. Oh my god. Holy shit, dude. That is... Let me zoom that in. 7 is demon. We have a demon who is allergic to crucifixes. That played out pretty well, actually. What is its feature? 6. Heat. Okay, so it's emanating some kind of heat. Let's write it down. Demon. So is it some kind of demon? It emanates some sort of heat. And feature 2, let's see. What's the second feature? That's gonna be a 7. It has a gigantic tail. Okay. What's its origin? Well, we know its origin, so we don't need to roll for that. Let's see, X. We don't need to know X. And Seeks. Should we roll for that? It's going to be under the control of Vlander and the Doctor. So I don't think we need to roll for that, actually. Yeah. So it's going to be a demon. It's going to emanate some kind of heat. In fact, I'm going to say it's basically a fire demon, right? So it's some kind of fire demon, and it has a huge tail. So it's gonna be something like let's see if I can draw this out really fast. Something like this. Maybe give it multiple eyes. Maybe a huge mouth with which it can use to spout out flames, stuff like that. I think that'll be cool. Something like that. It's a demon, so I'm thinking demon, but like I'm not thinking like the classical like humanic kind of demon. I'm thinking like humanic humanoid demon. I'm thinking of like more of a beast-like entity. There's no way I'm gonna fit this entire demon into this drawing. It's gonna look something like this. It's gonna have that huge tail, and I think it's going to be emanating some sort of heat. So there's gonna be some kind of like residual heat coming out from it, and I think it's going to be pretty huge. The question is, how huge are we talking, right? Like, how huge is this demonic entity essentially? Um, well, we can figure that out. So this is the demon, and it did come out a bit humanoid actually. But yeah, like I think maybe a few spikes on his tail, and we are done. So I think what's going to happen is that this demon is going to be ravaging the entirety of the city. How large is it? We know that it's going to be larger than a human at least. But that doesn't really tell us much. Is it more than 3 meters tall? That's gonna be likely, I think. Oh no, actually not. Okay. Yeah, let's say like it's basically as large as a bear. It's not like a kaiju. It's not like Godzilla, but it's this incredibly large bear-like creature, with well, not bear-like. It has horns and it has this gigantic reptilian tail, but you get the idea. And it breathes fire. That's bears don't do that. But yeah, we have this gigantic creature rushing about, just destroying houses, just breathing fire, just causing chaos in Hillgrab. And I think it's pretty easy to find this creature. We just follow the charred remains. So I think the corpses are not just going to be, stabbed or killed in a normal way. They're going to be charred. They're going to be burnt. And I think Samuel and Gaius don't know about the details about this creature, but I think they can guess from this. So they're gonna rush in further into the city, and they're gonna try to find any remains that they can. This is gonna be pretty easy, but I think they do need to roll on this. So I'm gonna make who has a higher investigation here? Gaius does. So Gaius is gonna do an investigation roll. Oh no, that's gonna be a 3. 3 plus 2, that's not gonna be a success. That's not even gonna be a complication, that's going to be a miss. So what happens on a miss for investigation actually? Let's find out. Okay, so investigation, miss. You suffer fate. Okay. What happens when Gaius is trying to look for any clues about this creature? 5. Something of value is permanently lost. What is of value to Samuel and Gaius that is permanently lost? I know, instead of finding the creature, he ends up finding Fabian, the hill grab captain, did. This is not a good sign. So, the hill grab captain of the watch has been killed by the creature, burnt, charred remains. That's not a good sign at all. So, Gaius is going to immediately rush over to Fabian. Uh, actually, is he completely. Well, is he dead? That's gonna be likely. Okay, yeah, he is dead. Very recently killed by the creature. So they are going to find the creature, but essentially, Gaius's mentor and father figure, basically, was killed by the creature. And I think he's a lot more choked up about this than Samuel is. Samuel says, Gaius, we need to go right now. There's no time. And Gaius kind of like tearfully kind of leaves behind his mentor, maybe making a few prayers before he does. So they go in, and eventually, I think they're going to run into the monster. How much devastation is there? How many soldiers are left, essentially? There's definitely going to be a few soldiers left. I'm seeing this scene where they're fighting the monster, and I think we're going to roll for d6 amount of soldiers actively fighting the monster. I think a lot of them have fled, or a lot of them have died in battle, so we're going to go with d6 for now. Some of them may be trying to get help from neighboring villages. Unlikely for that to happen, but how many? 6. That's going to be high. So that's actually going to be quite good. There we go. So they're all surrounding this creature. And like I said, this creature looks something like this. I should probably make a token for him, but you know what? Actually, let's do this instead. How much health does the creature have? We are going to put it at a rank of, let's see, I think a rank of 12 is good. It's fighting off these guards, and I think as we go in, it's definitely going to be winning, but does it, you just kill a guard as we're walking in? That's going to be no, actually. So that's going to be a 1-5, so that is going to be a no. So the guards are actually not able to make any headway into like defeating it because, as we know, it's actually indestructible, except if you use a crucifix of some kind. So I'm assuming that in this kind of world, crucifixes are fairly easy to come by, and that since Samuel and Gaius did discuss this, they were able to grab a crucifix from one of the nearby churches. Wait, actually, I should roll for that. It's likely that they were able to, and it's likely that Gaius maybe even had one, but yeah, we're gonna have to roll for it. Did they have a crucifix? There's gonna be a 13, yes. So Samuel is holding up this crucifix, and I think this creature sees this and immediately turns his attention towards Samuel with maybe a look of slight horror. However, it's not going to be as simple as that. I think that Samuel is going to have to do an actual skill check here to be able to possibly use the crucifix on the creature. I think Samuel is going to use his mind read ability actually. I think he's going to use his mind read ability on the creature and figure out the best way to basically get to him or to stop him from breathing the flames for just a moment. Like, what is the creature's tactic? What is the creature's combat tactic right now? I think that's what Samuel wants to know. So he is going to roll 2d6 and he is going to add a 4 to it because of the focus and mind read. And that is going to be a success. He's able to read the creature's mind and he's able to figure out that the creature is planning to, well, what is the creature planning to do? I don't think there's any like combat actions that has here. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. We're gonna be using Sacrifice's companion book, and Sacrifice is basically RPG that I will be covering very, very soon on this channel. But we're going to be using the GM-less rules and tools, and in here, I believe, if I remember right, there is a combat action chart, creature combat actions. So it's going to be at full health. So what is its combat action going to be? I'm gonna roll a d10 for that, and it's going to be a 3. So it's just going to be a standard attack. I think it's just going to be using its claws and it's going to rake across at Samuel. So what Samuel is going to have to do, and this is a large creature, right? It's like a bear-like creature. I think what Samuel is going to have to do, he knows that it's coming, so he has a higher chance of evading it. But he also is trying to use this opportunity to get close and press the crucifix against his heart. So that's going to be pretty tough. I think what he needs to do is he needs to pass an agility test, which he's not good at. And then he needs to be able to use his agility again to get close enough to press the crucifix against the creature's heart. That's going to be pretty hard. Let's do the first agility test. He's going to try to move out of the way. If he's not able to move out of the way, I think he's just going to get a wound, even if it's a complication. Do I really want to do this to myself? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, oh no! Oh no, that is a miss. That is gonna be an immediate wound. Oh shit. Okay, Samuel is going to go down to a 4. If he gets hit by that again, he's just gonna straight up just die. So that's bad. Samuel misses the claw, even though he knows it's coming, because he's trying to get in closer in order to press the crucifix against the monster's heart. But I'm gonna actually give him an extra die this time because he knew it was coming, so I think it makes sense. But the question is he also going to burn one of his dice? So to make that a 4. I don't think he is. I think he's just gonna roll these. Actually, no, he is. He's gonna burn his strength. He's gonna go in and he's gonna basically sear the creature's heart. And that's going to be yeah, that's gonna be a success. So the creature screams in agony as this crucifix is pressed against his heart, and it knocks Samuel aside and Samuel falls to the ground. But where there was this shield of armor and plating, now there is vulnerable flesh. And I think all the guards see it. I think Samuel and Gaia see it. And Samuel goes, "It's vulnerable. Get to its heart and destroy it." So, how am I gonna do this? I think the way I'm gonna do it is this. All of these guys are going to be able to be like one gigantic group army against this beast. So, let me erase some of this out. So this beast is going to have, like we said, a d12 to start with. However, we're gonna have an army stats of, well, we had 6 of the soldiers appear, so I think it makes sense that our stats will also be of a 12. We will basically get the same combat advantage as usual, I think. And we'll be able to burn our dice. So strength, focus, agility, and will. I think I'm going to just make that higher on the strength and agility because it makes sense they're an army, they're trained, right? So strength is going to be 2. Focus is going to be 1. Agility is going to be 3. And will is going to be 0. So I'm going to say it like this. They have a rank of 12 and they're facing off against this monster. So it's basically this army combat at this point. And we're basically going to roll and we're going to see whether we can defeat this monster under these circumstances now that it is vulnerable. However, it's going to be hard because there's only that one section on its heart where it's able to be destroyed. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll and we're going to see, are we actually going to be able to defeat this monster? Well, it all comes down to this, right? So we'll see. We are going to firstly, right out of the gate, we're going to roll for initiative. Initiative. Let's see who goes first. We are able to go first. So we're able to do our attacks. Are we going to primarily act with melee or are we primarily going to act with range? Well, I think that's going to be obvious here. We're going to act with melee and we're going to try to all stab at this creature's heart. So I think we're going to roll the dice here and we're going to add our strength. But yeah, I think we're actually going to start off burning on one of our dice. I think we're going to burn our focus dice here. So let's do that real quick. So 3 dice plus 2 is going to be a success. So we're able to get this down. We're able to stab through the creature's heart and it yells in pain as these shards of like gems kind of fly out. Remember that gems were an important part of creating this creature, but I think some of our weapons kind of almost like are melting in the process and it's a tough fight. We're gonna have to evade this creature now and let's see whether we're able to do it. 4 and a 4 plus our agility of 3 is going to be a success. So we're actually going to not only dodge it, I think we're also going to be able to parry the attack and we're able to deal 1 harm to it. So it actually goes down to a 9. Also, I think our regular attack is just going to be a d6 for our attack. So this creature strikes out and tries to grab at one of the soldiers, but they're able to stab through and able to deal some damage to him, and he lets go of the soldier screaming. Now, for the next turn, who goes first? The creature takes the lead this time. I think the creature now is angered. It knows that it's being backed up into a corner, is going to attack us, and we're gonna have to see whether we are able to dodge it with our agility, and that's going to be a complication. So it's gonna deal its harm to us. I think the foe is gonna do a d6 damage as well. I think we're evenly matched here. It's gonna deal 6 damage. So we're gonna go down actually to a 10. We're gonna go down 1 rank. So we're actually pretty evenly matched off at this point. We're gonna do 1 more attack at it using the strength, and oh, we are able to hit again. We are able to actually hit the creature and actually deal 1 rank of damage to it. It's going to go down again to an 8. We need to see now. Now it's getting kind of like desperate, I think. Let's see what kind of like attack it does. 10. Oh, that's interesting. The monster is going to flee off into the distance, at least for a little bit. He's going to try to find some kind of cover or something to gain an advantage. So I think it's going to spend this turn trying to get an advantage, and that's going to allow it to do an advantage attack the next time. So we're going to try to prevent it using our agility. So are we able to stop this monster from retreating to a better combat position? It's going to try to jump on top of this pillar and try to be able to breathe fire at us. So we're going to try to see. Oh, we roll really well. Okay, so that's going to be a 6 and a 5. That's going to be a success. Two of the soldiers are able to block it and kind of push it back from jumping onto this pillar. And it wastes its turn, essentially. It's not able to jump out on the pillar. It's not able to get an advantage attack the next time. Things are going pretty well for us. So we're going to roll again for initiative. 4. We're able to go first. We're going to roll for our combat here, and we're going to try to use our strength. Oh, no. That is going to be Snake Eyes. Just when things were going well. This is going to be a miss. There's going to be a -1 to the next initiative test. And I think the monster sees this as his opportunity. He is going to start to attack us again. And he is going to use his, let's see here. I think he's just going to use his tail and try to swipe around at the soldiers. 5 and a 2. So that's going to be 7 plus 3. That's barely a success. Which means we're able to barely, just barely, parry it and deal back its harm again. So we're going to roll a d6 again. 4. It goes down to a 6. So the monster is near death at this point. It needs to do something. So like we said, we rolled in the next initiative with disadvantage, so it's going to be a -1. Oh, but we roll a 6. So we actually go first again. I think we're actually going to try to finish this monster off. So we're going to roll for our strength here. And we're doing pretty well. So 6 and a 5 again. What's with these rolls today? We're actually doing well. So 6 and a 5 is actually going to deal 1 rank of damage to the monster. 1 more rank and he's going to die. This is going to be a 4. The monster is going to try to flee. I think it's going to use one of its dice. So this is going to be a lot harder. So in order to stop it, essentially, normally, we'll actually have to burn one of our dice. I think we're going to burn the strength dice here. Basically, it's using one of its dice, and we're using one of our dice, so it balances out. It's going to be a 2d6. Are we able to stop it from fleeing? It's going to be a +3, so our agility is pretty high, so we should be able to stop it from fleeing. Oh my god, what's with the rolls today? Okay, so we are able to stop it from fleeing. It wastes its turn, and we're able to go into the final phase of combat. So at this point, we didn't lose a lot of soldiers. I think we've lost maybe, let's say we've lost maybe 2 soldiers during this ordeal. And the rest are still fighting. I think Samuel knows its weak point and is trying to go in for the final kill here. Him and Gaius, I think, are going to try to go in for the final kill here. So again, Samuel has a saber and he's going to try to thrust it into the monster. And he is actually going to use up his die here. So this is his final shot. So again, this is a mass combat kind of scenario, so I don't think we're going to burn up his dice. We're going to burn up our final die here, and that's going to be a 3d6 with nothing added. 3d6 with nothing added. Are we able to deal the final blow to this creature? And that is going to be a yes. We're able to deal the final blow to this creature, and it kind of like screams out in fury as it dissolves into nothing but ashes. And I think at this point the guards are all panting, exhausted. And Samuel and Gaius go up to this pile of ashes, and Samuel starts digging and digging and digging and digging. And he finds gems, gold, and jewelry within this pile of ashes. Again, it was powering the creature somehow. But in the midst of all of this, he sees unmistakably the locket that he gave Antonia that fateful night. And it is with this locket that he shows to Gaius. And he goes, "We've done it. We found evidence of Lande and the doctor's involvement. We can now avenge your sister, as well as hordes of people this monster has killed." Okay, the final question. And this is important. Gaius looks at Samuel, looks at the locket. Does he still take Samuel in? He has his guards all around him. At this point, is up to him entirely. If you take Samuel in, he'll basically be avenging the soldiers that Samuel killed. But at the same time, Samuel has shown some honor throughout all of this. And he has shown that he is at least somewhat changed, right? I think that's gonna be a 50-50. Actually, since this is basically possibly one of the final roles of this entire season, why not make it using the Fallen Oracle? So I've been using my own Oracle this entire time, but let's actually use the Oracle that was provided by the creator of Fallen. 2d6s and 1d8. So, does Gaius forgive Samuel? That's going to be an even chance. So a yes on an 8 plus. 6, 5, and a 6. So there's going to be an 11. There's going to be a yes. Samuel holds out the locket to Gaius, and Gaius takes it. Samuel nods and waits. There's a brief pause here. The soldiers don't know what's going on at this point. They've just experienced this massive invasion into their city. They don't actually know the history between these two people. All they know is that their second in command is there, who is now actually the captain of the watch, now that the actual captain has died in battle. I think Gaius goes, Samuel, you've done a lot of wrong things. You've messed up pretty badly on many occasions. However, you have proven your honor. Leave Hillgrab now and never come back. So I think that's the ultimatum that he gives Samuel. I think Samuel gladly takes this chance and walks away, out through the ruined gates of Hillgrab, away from his village, away from this land. And I think he knows that he has truly come to the end of his journey. He has finally avenged Antonia. He has finally brought Lord Vlade and the Plague Doctor to justice, and his job here is done. Whatever journeys, whatever adventures he might have in the future, I think that is for perhaps another time. But for now, we have come to the end of Fallen Solo. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for sticking by this series for this long. I appreciate all of the comments and all of the likes and all of the really nice stuff that you guys have done. And I really enjoyed this adventure. I would like to thank, again, all of my subscribers. I'd like to thank Perplexing Ruins for making this amazing game. But as of right now, Samuel has finally finished his journey. Goodbye for now.